This is Spirit Spotlight.
Bethune cuts in. Bethune now finds Rodman. Flag stays down. Rodman off the post and in. The first shot of the game produces the first goal of the game, and the Spirit go on top.
Your official Washington Spirit source for exclusive interviews, official postgame show, and all things Spirit throughout the season. Here's Mike Minnich.
Sitting across from two of the greatest goalkeepers DC Soccer has ever seen, Aubrey Kingsbury, our guest for Spirit Spotlight, and Bill Hamid, my special co-host for this one.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's quite the intro.
Aubrey, let's talk about this week. You come off a loss to Orlando. You come home. You beat Racing Louisville 4-1. What does that do for the confidence of this team, especially because you've been overcoming Andy's injury, Croy's injury, a lot of injuries?
Yeah, we've always responded well to a loss this season, and especially being in front of our home crowd at Audi, they really energize us. And so being able to play in front of them, being able to score that many goals and give them something to be excited about, I think that really helps us build momentum with the Chicago game and then into the postseason.
I think one of the stories about this team this year has been everybody's contributed, right? So McKenna makes her first home start. She scores 2 goals.
Yeah.
Rose, pretty new to the team, gets an assist and draws a penalty kick. How much does that kind of bring the confidence up of everybody to see all the teammates succeeding, not just one or two? Right.
Like you're saying, it's kind of been the theme of the season from the very beginning when Hal and Croy were just scoring as rookies. But that's kind of the culture and the mentality that we're building here is everyone is a valuable member. Everyone competes in every session, so really come game time, we're not sure of the lineup, and whoever he puts in, we expect and anticipate that they're going to come up big for us and help us win. So, yeah, I think we've got a lot of depth, and that's really showing as we've had these injuries throughout the season. 2
games left. You've clinched the playoff spot. You've clinched the home game. But there's still work to do in terms of maybe clinching that second home. How important is it to know, okay, if we take care of business in this quarterfinal, we're going to be back at Audi for a semifinal?
Super important. We control our destiny in the sense that we win out these last 2 games of the season and we could have a home semifinal. And that's just something that's in our control, right? We want the home crowd. We want them cheering us on. And we don't want to have to travel. Obviously, that presents its own challenges. And then being in front of an away crowd. There's a lot of teams in this league that have really rowdy fans. So I don't want to play Kansas City at Kansas City, things like that. So I think it puts the pressure on the opponents to have the home match, especially because we play so well at Audi. We really want to have that match at home for our fans, for us, and to have the best chance of advancing to the final.
3 years ago, you started that playoff run here, beating North Carolina. If I would have told you then that Taran McAllan is going to be a center back in front of you and playing every minute, what would you have said?
Oh, when I heard that was the plan in the off season for the following season, I was like, "Are you sure?" But I trust this staff. Mark has done an incredible job at assembling a world-class roster, and Jonah, Adrian, all the technical performance staff have done an incredible job of getting the most out of each player and developing us. If you look at us from the beginning of the season to now, we've made some massive steps forward. And like you said, everyone's contributed. So there's a lot of things I wouldn't have expected, but now I expect great things out of everyone.
How is that an adaptation with her getting plugged in the back line in terms of the communication component, being able to lead her left and right, forward, back? How has that been?
It's been fun to see her evolve and become more of a leader and be vocal and confident in what she's saying. Because at first she was really quiet, just trying to,
figure it
be
out
in the right spot herself, right? And now she's in the right spot and can then organize everyone around her. And her physicality is brilliant. She's fast. She can hang with your Chwinga, your Banda. So she's an incredible center back. I think she's still very underrated in the league.
Is she? You've been in the national team camp. Does she at that level? What does she maybe need to do to get to that level?
I think she deserves a chance. Yeah, I know that's something she would want. Everyone wants that opportunity to represent your national team. So I know Emma Hayes has been watching us. She's identified a lot of talent. We've got a lot of girls going into the national team. So I really hope that Tara does get an opportunity in the future.
How about yourself?
I'm always
another
wanting to be
national
there.
team goalkeeper in Chicago this weekend. So How does that, even myself remembering getting national team call-ups, I know I wanted to compete against all those other goalkeepers. How does that feel for you, knowing that you are about to play against Chicago, but then you want possibly a chance to step up on a national team?
Obviously, I'm always hungry to win, regardless of who's in the opposing net, but maybe a little extra motivation this game, especially with it being our last regular season game, and again, wanting to carry that momentum forward. So I'd be lying if I said I didn't really want to shut out. We've been really strong defensively, but kind of slipping in an easy goal or two here and there. So I think it's really important that we maintain a shutout for this match.
It's been two players that have kind of moved into that rotation in the back. Esme Morgan comes in from Man City, and Paige Mateer has been going outside back now. How have you seen those two progress this season as they've improved? Paige
is your ultimate utility player, and not in a bad way.
Right.
Usually that's kind of a curse when you can play all the positions, but for her, I think it's incredible. It's a blessing to be able to move someone around because of all our injuries and just formation changes, things like that. So I think it's incredible that she can be excellent at many positions, and she's really starting to feel comfortable and do well along that wing. She's one of our fastest players on the team. I think people obviously see trend speed, but she's right there. So just her ability to get up and down that flank, she's a smart player, keeps possession really well. So not your typical outside back who just kind of serves in crosses, but she will kind of pick a defense apart. And so it's been fun to see her play there.
You mentioned Mark Krikorian's ability as a roster builder. To find her undrafted, find Heather Steinbrook undrafted, has given you two really good pieces this year. Yeah, for sure. I think over the years, the squad has improved vastly. Like the bottom, third just keeps rising and rising, and in all measures, in performance metrics and just technical and even tactical abilities. So it's been really fun to see this team, this organization evolve, and I trust our leadership and know that next year we'll look to take another step forward and always push ourselves and keep moving forward. We talked kind of informally earlier this season about the goalkeeping room for you guys, where you've got Barney, who's kind of seen it all, and you've got Liza Bosselman and now Kaylee Collins, who are younger, and you're kind of in the middle. I thought it was really interesting what you were talking about in terms of the evolution of that position playing with feet. Can you kind of talk about that and how that's come along? Yeah, it's been a challenge this year for me, just to play Jonah's style. It's a lot of short passes. I'm very involved. It's not like I kind of let them push up the field and just stand back and wait, but I'm always adjusting, always looking to be an option, so then they have to step and press me, and that creates more options further up the field. Just in our trainings, we do a lot more with feet. In past years, maybe let's say it's 75% handling, 25% feet. But this year I'd say it's about half and half. We create a lot of game scenarios, which has been great for my confidence, and now we welcome the pressure, because that's when then we can beat them, and especially exploit more space behind with all of our front speedsters. We do well with press. We invite it, and it's been fun for me to continue to develop. And even at this point in my career, I still feel like I have a lot to learn and a lot more to develop. So that's really exciting, and I like that I'm being challenged in new ways under this new coaching staff. Last week against Louisville, they were playing pretty much their forwards at the top of the 18 on goal kicks and forcing you guys to play short. Is that something you feel a lot more comfortable with than you would have maybe this time last year or 2 years ago? Yeah. You see it when they're at the top of the box, they're in a sprinter stance, but we're not kicking long. We're able to, play out of it. Yes, we take risks, but also, you have to do it strategically. And I think we've done a good job of balancing that, right? Like, you don't want to just, what do they call it? Death by build-up, where you're like build at all costs and just give these central turnovers for the other team to just come down and counter or score on you. But, we're smart about it. We can manage the momentum. Obviously, I know as a keeper, if they're really coming at us, then I'm going to push the team up and let's go long. But for the most part, we train, we're comfortable being pressed, so we welcome that. Kind of a cool milestone for you this week. You went over 450 career saves as a Spirit goalkeeper. So it's just you and Jane Campbell, the only two that have done it for one club in the league. What does that mean to you that you've been able to have such a good career here specifically?
I think longevity is important and sometimes overlooked. You know, people like the young, flashy keepers or any position, right? But to be a successful keeper, like even anyone can have a good couple games, anyone can have one good season, but to continue to do that year after year is really hard, because then people expect more of you and more of you, and it leaves little room for error. But that's something I pride myself on, is being a consistent keeper, making the saves I'm expected to make, and coming up with some big ones every now and then. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that I've been able to stay here and continue to grow with this organization, because we've had so much change and we've lost a lot of people along the way, and that's normal in any growing, evolving organization. There's going to be a lot of turnover, but I'm happy that they believe in me. I'm grateful to be here and to be a part of this team now. It's we've come leaps and bounds since when I first arrived in 2018, and there's really nowhere else I'd rather play.
Physically and mentally, what have you done to be able to stay that consistent throughout your career?
I'm in the gym a lot. Us keepers always work the hardest.
Gotta be in the gym.
Oh yeah, I'm in the gym a lot. Even we train on recovery days, so the day after the match, everyone who starts will have a recovery day, take it off. But I'm training, I'm lifting. I watch a lot of film. So there's just a lot that goes in behind the scenes that people probably don't realize. I do my homework. I don't take anything for granted, and I'm always looking to learn. I think that's also really important, is to have a growth mindset and not think, hey, I've been in the league for 10 years, I know it all, and I'm going to tell you what to do and stuff. But as I've gotten to play with incredible players, I'm always trying to pick something up off of everybody that I meet, and incredible staff that are coming from all over the world in different exposures. So it's been really cool to kind of take something from everybody that I've gotten to work with. And yeah, I've got a great team here behind me, behind all of us, and it's really helped, I guess, me stay here as long as I have and continue to be healthy and be fit to continue to play.
You mentioned preparation and research. We're getting into shootout season now.
Yeah.
How much do you maybe look at, okay, we're playing this team, these are the shooters I might see in a penalty shootout?
We've been practicing penalties all season long, especially with VAR. At the beginning of the season, there was like a penalty per game. So I actually love shootouts because all the pressure's on the kicker, really. So as a keeper, you make a save and you get to be the hero for once. But yeah, we do our homework. We look at the kickers for every match. So it will kind of be the same preparation as we go into the playoffs, but we'll look past their third, fourth kicker and kind of look at everyone and prepare for, how many ever it takes. Back in 2021, I think we had a Challenge Cup game that went to 10 kickers.
Yes.
So
against Seattle. Yes.
By then, the people are kicking. I'm like, they've never taken a penalty before, So, we've got great analysts. We'll look at every penalty that they've taken, and me and my goalkeeper coach sit down and kind of talk about our strategy for that. But again, it's very prepared, very calculated, and if it comes to that, we'll be ready. You
were talking about goalkeepers being in the shootout. Made me think of Alyssa Nair. Are you ready to take one?
I am. Yeah, I was kicker number 3 in that shootout. So, being a leader on this team, I want to have the responsibility in that scenario. So I will be ready, if my name's called.
2 games left in the regular season, then hopefully 3 more to go in the postseason. What does this team need to do what they did 3 years ago and lift the trophy on the final day?
Yeah, it'll take all of us being at our best. I think we also need to get healthy. We still have a couple people who are trying to get back into the squad. So it's great. We've got this FIFA break coming up. Gives an extra week for rest and recovery. But the playoffs, it's just about who's hot at the moment. So it's taking it one game at a time, not looking ahead, and just showing up and being your absolute best and competing and taking advantage of the chances. Because, you might not get many, but it's just who can be good on that day.
How intricate do you get at this point of the season with your training and your film study, all that stuff? Is it, I need to pound away at my body and at my training and at watching film because the playoffs are coming? Or is it, now this is load management, I'm going to get a little more intricate on how I go about things, make sure that I'm fresh for the weekend?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a different strategy in terms of like the week periodization. I'd say we're starting to taper off into the season. Like at this point, we're not going to be making any great physical gains. We just are trying to maintain and prevent injuries, really. And then in terms of video prep, not trying to do too much because, again, you want to like stick to your routine, stick to what got you there, and sometimes you don't want to over prepare or be thinking too much about the opponents. But it's just like if I'm set in the right position, I know that I can make those saves regardless of who it is that's shooting or who's on the ball. So kind of treating it like a normal week, but then a little more emphasis on the penalties as we get to the playoffs. Yeah.
All right, Aubrey, Bill, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
This has been Spirit Spotlight, an official presentation of the Washington Spirit Radio Network. Listen live every Friday afternoon with Bram Weinstein at 3:40 on ESPN 630 in DC and anywhere from the ESPN 630 app.